The stickleback's able to fertilize the eggs of up to 5 females. But that's nothing compared to the theoretical potency of human males. But fertilizing eggs is easy. Looking after them is difficult. The stickleback is number 5 in the countdown because of the extreme effort he puts into caring for his babies. He fans the eggs with his fins to supply oxygen to the developing embryos and to wash away any waste products. He's so driven, he'll spend 2/3 of his day fanning at up to 400 beats per minute. This extreme dad can even scare off nosy neighbors, unlike the next contender in the countdown. Our next contender lives on the flooded plains of Brazil, where so much rain falls that it helps if you can walk on water. And the jacana does just that. It's also called the lily trotter, for obvious reasons. But this bizarre bird is number 4 in the countdown because the male jacana is an extreme wimp. He's looking after a nest full of eggs, but his mate has disappeared. This female's a stranger, and she needs a new mate. But that's our male's worst nightmare. He can yell all he likes, but the foreign female is only after one thing: his eggs. The ultimate henpecked male can only watch as she smashes his family. The eggs he so carefully reared were nearly ready to hatch, but now they're lunch for the female. Having eaten, the female signals to the male that she's now in the mood for love. And with the most extreme amnesia in the countdown, the bereaved male mates with his baby killer. Later, she'll lay eggs in his nest, but because she has many partners on the floodplains, our dad will never know if he's rearing his chicks or those sired by another henpecked male.
There is no limit to what these dads can do for their kids. From the king of the jungle to a little rat, these creatures are unusual and extraordinary when it comes to parenting. So who are the top 3 dads of the wild? Do take a look.
The next contender in our countdown of extreme dads has a problem. In southern Africa, the rains have gone. These tadpoles are only 2 days old, but already their pool is drying up fast. It's lucky they have an extremely devoted dad. The giant African bullfrog. It's his job to protect his 6,000 children, and he finds an extreme solution to their problem. The bullfrog is number 3 in the countdown because he digs in to help his children out. His powerful legs can build a channel into a bigger pool and so save his entire family from disaster. For some dads, bringing up baby can be really hard work. In fact, most human fathers have no idea how hard it will be. Darwin's frog takes his paternal duties one step further than even the African bullfrog. As soon as the female has laid her eggs, it's the male's job to protect his family. So he eats the eggs. His family develops in their own special pond inside his vocal sacs. And there's a very good reason for this extreme behavior. For in this forest, there are plenty of predators that eat frogs, both large and small. Luckily, Darwin's frog has a cunning plan. He flips onto his back and plays dead. Once the danger's passed, he and his babies can swim to safety. And then, after 6 long weeks, this extreme dad gives birth by throwing up. These frogs really give new meaning to the phrase, bringing up the baby. Welcome to Antarctica, the coldest place on Earth. In winter, it gets so cold here, everything freezes solid, including the ocean. This giant ice block is one of the harshest places to live on the planet, but it's home to the coolest contender in the countdown. Emperor penguins actually travel to Antarctica to breed in the middle of winter. They can slide more than 80 kilometers to their frozen breeding grounds. Here, the temperature is usually 40 degrees below zero, and to make things worse, it will be more than 4 months before the sun rises above the horizon again. Into this frozen darkness, the female produces an egg. If they leave it on the ground, it will freeze. So this extreme dad makes a nest from his feet. He balances this precious egg on top of his toes, barely moving for 65 long days. The females all left long ago, so the males are left huddled together, waiting for the end of the worst winter on the planet. When the sun finally returns, there are new arrivals in the colony. But there's a problem. How do you feed a hungry chick when the fridge is empty and you haven't eaten for 4 months? The emperor penguin is number 2 in the countdown because he can feed his baby with a special stomach secretion that looks a little like milk. It's a nice trick, but could human fathers also produce milk for their babies? But emperor penguins aren't ashamed. These extreme dads know that a little mouth-to-mouth resuscitation is necessary when you nest so far from food. Even so, it's a vast relief when, after 2 months away, the females return with stomachs full of fish. But big bellies and small babies make completing the transfer difficult. This is one time when you don't want to stand on your partner's toes. Emperor penguin chicks are lucky they have a father that takes childcare in his stride. But even the coolest dad can't compete with the animal that's #1 in the countdown. Welcome to Miami. This is one place where you can find the most extreme dad in the countdown. In these waters, there are males that make the ultimate sacrifice in the name of fatherhood. For here, your mother is also your father. The #1 most extreme dad in the countdown is the seahorse. Male seahorses are extremely romantic. When they're in the mood for love, they'll dance for 3 days. And it's all for a good reason. Dancing gives these guys a huge pot belly. And that's a real turn-on for female seahorses. Dancing close to his massive stomach, it takes only seconds for the female to lay hundreds of eggs inside the male. The seahorse is the #1 most extreme dad in the countdown because it's the male that gets pregnant. That massive stomach is actually a brood pouch. The walls of his belly provide nourishment for the developing eggs inside him. Unfortunately, human males don't have the necessary equipment to get pregnant. But that doesn't stop some from trying. In 1996, British journalist Adrian Gadden became a human seahorse. To experience what his pregnant partner was going through, he simulated all the symptoms of pregnancy. He drank salt water to suffer from morning sickness. He wore a false belly weighing 10 kilograms and strapped on weights to his ankles. A constant diet of high-fiber foods generated a steady supply of internal gas. And he even suffered tenderness of the chest region by applying clothespins to his nipples. Guys, don't try this at home. After 9 months of this regime, most men would have a healthy respect for those with a bun in the oven. So spare a thought for the male seahorse. He can have 1,000 buns in his swollen oven. And it's 4 long weeks before his contractions begin. Then this extraordinary dad gives birth. These baby seahorses have a truly unique father. No other dad goes to such extraordinary lengths to look after his babies.